Good. Question 7. So we've got, given that alpha is an acute angle and that tan alpha is 2/5, find the exact value of cos alpha. Right. Well, the first thing to do with this is, if alpha is an acute angle, that acute means between 0 and 90, that means there is a right angled triangle in which alpha is. And so for part 1, part 1, we may as well keep it really, really simple. Go back to the whole SOHCAHTOA stuff that you've done in the past, that there is a right angled triangle such that there is an acute angle where tan, that's the opposite over the adjacent, is 2/5. So there's alpha, the opposite over the adjacent is 2/5. That would be what it would look like, isn't it? Remember back to when you first did trigonometry? Now if that's the case, the hypotenuse, we could easily work that out. The hypotenuse is the square root of 5 squared plus 2 squared. So we would get, what is that, root 29? So that is root 29. If that's root 29, then the cosine of alpha, cos is adjacent of the hypotenuse, cosine is the adjacent of the hypotenuse, so cos alpha is 5 over root 29. Because it was an acute angle, we could keep it really simple, deal with the right angled triangle that it was all about, and just do it that way. And that's the easiest way to do part 1. Part 2 is about an obtuse angle. So the right angled triangles don't have obtuse angles in them. So we need to think about this in a slightly different way. We've got sine, and we need to find cos. But we do know something about sine and cos. We know that if you square them and add them together, you always get 1. So for part 2, when we've got to deal with sine and cos, a neat way of going about this would be to say, we know that sine squared beta plus cos squared beta has to be equal to 1. Sine beta is 3/7. So sine squared is 9/49. So that must be true. Now if we rearrange that, we just squared 3/7, so I didn't need to get 9/49. So if we rearrange this, we've got cos squared beta is 1 minus 9/49, which I think is 40 over 49, because that's 49/49, take away 9/49, so we leave us with 40/49. That's what cos squared beta is. So cos beta is plus or minus the square root of 40 over 49. Which would be plus or minus, well, 40 is, what can we do with 40? It's, 2 root 10. And 49, root 49 is 7. So we've got plus or minus 2 root 10 over 7. Plus or minus 2 root 10 over 7. Which we're going to take. We're told that we have an obtuse angle here. Let's think about how cos behaves, and we could do it either with the graph or with the cast diagram. That if cos is an acute angle, it's positive. That set to there, that's where we've got the obtuse angles, between 90 and 180. Around here we've got reflex angles, we haven't got obtuse angles anymore. So we have to be in that sector there. Now in that sector there, cos is negative. So it can't be the plus 2 root 10 over 7, it must be the minus 2 root 10 over 7. cos beta is minus 2 root 10 over 7. If you think in terms of the graph, then you're thinking there, you're thinking if we're looking at the obtuse angles, that's the angles in that region there between 90 and 180, and in that region you can see cos is negative. So this plus or minus 2 root 10 over 7, it must be one of the angles from that bit there. Okay. And there we go. People found that question difficult, I think, in the exam, just because it's throwing a question at you in a different way, isn't it? It's looking quite different. Then we had part B. The diagram shows a triangle ABC with AC is 6, BC is 8, and BAC is 60, and angle ABC is gamma. Find the exact value of sine gamma, simplify your answer. We haven't had a sine cosine law question at all, have we? So this is where we get the sine cosine law question. The exact value of sine gamma. So that is, well, we could do that. Well, we've got enough information to do that, haven't we? Because we've got the angle, and we've got the side opposite it, we've got the angle and the side opposite it. So sine gamma over 6 is equal to sine 60 over 8. And we want this exactly, so this is that thing where you need to be able to get sine 60 as an exact value. So if your calculator can't do it, you need to remember remember what that angle is. Sine 60, most of your calculators will do it. This is going to give us sine gamma over 6 is sine 60 is root 3 over 2. So we've got root 3 over 2 divided by 8. Root 3 over 16. We're going to multiply through by the 6 to get sine gamma on its own, which will cancel down to 3 root 3 over 8. And that 3 looks a little bit like an 8. And that would be it. That was quite a neat little 3 marks at the end of that. Yeah, and that's testing either that you have a calculator that will work out sine 60 exactly, or that you've learnt that it's root 3 over 2. And you need to make sure that works for you. If you haven't got a calculator that does it.
I'm going to upgrade if I do that.
I'm going to upgrade.